What's up everyone, and welcome to the first episode of I Am Curious. As you have probably read in the title, I decided to start off this channel by looking at some of the weirdest and literally most mind-boggling ideas or events that made millions. I mean, the simplicity of some of these things will definitely make you jealous and leave you wondering, why the heck didn't I think of this? And just before we go into the video, I would like to encourage all of you curious people out there to subscribe to my channel if you find my content interesting. And if you do subscribe, make sure to let me know in the comment section by saying, I'm curious. And I'll make sure to thank you for that or even mention you in my next video. That being out the way, let's kick it. Alright, so the first one that I wanted to talk about is Eric Martin. This young fellow from Pennsylvania spent quite a bit of his free time last year promoting a fairly young company called Jet.com. For those of you that haven't heard of this company before, they advertise themselves as online-only retail site that has high hopes to rival one of the market leaders, Amazon. Well, that's aiming big, isn't it? But if we're talking about our buddy Eric here, who did the promotion for the site as part of internal contest, this guy invested $18,000 of his own cash to gather as many new customers as possible to sign up for his company's page. Basically, most of the money went into paying marketing websites that would find new customers for his company's webpage for him. And probably to no one's surprise, he did end up winning the contest by managing to sign 8,000 people. Well, by now you may be asking yourself, was it worth it? Well, it turns out, the prize included 100,000 shares of the startup company. But little did Eric knew that the retail giant Walmart had an eye on the company, and once they made a deal to acquire Jet.com for $3.3 billion, yep, that's billion with a B, for a 2-year-old company, Eric found his shares being evaluated at around $10 to $20 million. That's around 800 times more than what he had to put in the contest in the first place. I mean, even some of the best investors in the world could learn a thing or two from this guy. Okay, so some of you may be aware of this one. Honestly, I wasn't, so I had to put this in here. Alex too was 21 years old and was studying in England while obviously struggling to pay tuitions like the most of us students here, when one day he came up with this insane idea that would rid him of caring about these pesky loans forever. He suddenly thought of selling space on his website as advertisement. Simple. Conveniently enough, his page had 1000 vertical and 1000 horizontal pixels, which any man's genius would know equals to 1 million pixels in total. So by selling each pixel for $1 and being just a bit lucky, he made $1 million in just 1 year as his site went viral and companies all around the world started to pick up the space on his site pixel by pixel. Some of the companies even spent thousands, so they would actually have their logos at a size that can be read by someone. Obviously, following this crazy idea, there were many copycats that followed, but none of them were as successful as the original. And I guess the lesson that comes from this one is that you can make tons of money just by thinking outside the box. On the other hand, sometimes becoming a millionaire doesn't even involve the process of thinking. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. What do you have in mind? Well, how about winning a lottery without actually taking part in one? Back in August 2013, when Caesars Entertainment announced it was giving away $1 million prizes, this lucky chap with the name Kevin Lewis just happened to be at a Horsehole casino where one of these prizes was being given away. Out of thousands of contestants, his name was pulled out of a lucky draw, and filled with excitement, this lad went over and claimed his rightful award.
Our next millionaire from Horseshoe, Cincinnati is Kevin Lewis.
The funny part though, upon further verification, the casino found out that this guy was another Kevin Lewis and not the one from the draw. So what happens to our main guy now? He gets put into an awkward position and is being asked to give the money back? Not at all. How about the casino decides to apologize for the mix-up and awards another separate $1 million to the intended Kevin Lewis, while not even taking back the money from the first person. I mean, who needs $1 million, right? Keep the change, buddy. I guess these guys just figured out he's going to give all that money back away playing the machines or something. Who knows? The guy is in a casino, isn't he? Talking about mix-ups and confusion, let's look at this next one. An Asian fellow who goes by the name of Liu Gao applied for an overdraft of $100,000 for his failing business and instead received 10 million. This is because of a simple typo from one of the Westpac Bank Corporation employees. Being a businessman himself, this lad quickly realized that this was indeed a mistake and didn't hesitate for a moment to take the advantage of the situation by transferring $6.8 million to his account overseas. Then he fled to China before the bank froze his accounts 2 weeks later. Gao spent more than 2 years on the run before he was arrested at Interpol's request as he tried to enter Hong Kong from mainland China, and he was then extradited back to New Zealand. So what's so interesting about this story, aside the fact that he was giving away 6.8 million by mistake? Well, the bank has managed to recover 3 million back, and once he pleaded guilty to 7 charges of theft and was sentenced to prison for 4 years and 7 months, he was released after serving only 16 months, and there was still no answer as to how much of the uncovered 3.7 million he still controls. He was then put on parole conditions, which will last only until January 2017, and then, well, nobody really knows what happens to the money as he will become a free man, so he may just become a millionaire after all. Okay. So of all the ridiculous ideas that went through in the internet, this one has to top them all. The story of Gary Dahl and his strange idea goes to show how the power of advertisement and marketing can manipulate anyone into buying the most preposterous thing that you can imagine. In 1975, Gary shocked the world as he sold all of the America with this silly invention for $4 each, with millions of people buying it. So what did this genius of a man invented? A pet rock. Yep, a rock that you keep and treat as a pet. It even came with a manual, and the only real thing that separated it from a normal, ordinary rock was that it would come with certain decorations. So how did he came up with this brilliant idea? Well, one day he was relaxing at the bar with his friends when one of them suddenly started complaining about his pets. So how do you solve this problem? Inventing a pet that does not need to be fed, walked, bathed, or simply taken care of in any form. I mean, it even started as a joke, and even if Americans did really see it as a joke that they simply wanted to be a part of, guess what? He managed to make $56 million out of this. He may have been a genius after all. As they say, the best ideas are the simplest ones, and it doesn't really get more simple than this, does it? So you mean to tell me you managed to go to the entire video? Well then, make sure to consider subscribing, or even suggesting a topic that I could cover next, as I will try and release a new video every week. But as of now, thanks for watching and stay curious.